Hello, this is Monday. Hello, this is Shanta. It's Monday, April 20th, 2026. This is just a input into my own personal trading journal that I've decided to make public. And let me just get to it. This is something I'm documenting not just for myself, but for anyone who can take something useful from it. Over the past few weeks, I've realized that trading is less about being right and more about staying aligned with a process. I had an 84% win rate, which on paper looks great, but what stood out to me were the losses. Every time I lost, it wasn't random. It pointed to something I either overlooked or chose to ignore. That's been one of the biggest lessons. Losses are information. If I'm willing to study them honestly, they'll tell me exactly where I'm off. I also saw what happens when I drift away from my core framework. I experimented with shifting my entire process into a different structure. That shift wasn't useless, it actually led to some valuable insights, but it also showed me how easy it is to lose consistency when I move too far away from something that already works. Going forward, I don't need to replace my system every time I learn something new. I need to refine it. One of the most practical things I've developed is clarity around specific high probability conditions. When those conditions show up, there's no debate. I execute with a predefined take profit and stop loss. That kind of clarity removes hesitation, and hesitation is where mistakes tend to creep in. At the same time, I'm learning that not trading is a position. There are situations I simply avoid now. Holidays, conflicting signals on the same chart, or anything that introduces too much uncertainty. I used to feel like I needed to be in the market, but the reality is that most of the damage comes from trades that never should have been taken in the first place. Sitting out is part of the strategy. Holidays were a big eye opener. I assumed continuation would carry over, especially with shortened trading sessions, but that assumption doesn't hold up. There's always new information entering the market, whether I see it immediately or not. That forced me to respect something simple but important. A holiday is a holiday. If it's on the if it's on the checklist, it's there for a reason. Another habit I've built is cross-checking data. If one source looks unchanged, I don't assume nothing is happening. I verify it elsewhere. The market doesn't stop just because my broker is closed, and that's something I have to stay aware of. What all of this comes down to is treating trading like a system, not a series of random decisions. Small, consistent gains don't feel like much in the moment, but repeated over time, they add up in a meaningful way. This isn't about chasing big wins. It's about executing the same edge over and over with discipline. I'm sharing this because I know I'm not the only one going through these cycles, adjusting, learning, refining. If there's anything to take from this, it's that consistency comes from structure and progress comes from being honest about what's actually happening in your own process. Thank you.